This video will show you some exercise options following patients that have suffered from a distal radius fracture. These are more geared towards the patients that have been given the okay to start progressive range of motion and starting to build up strength in that wrist. So we're just starting off with a nice straight hand, and then we're going to curl our fingers down into what we call a hook, then bring it down into a fist, then straighten the fingers out into a tabletop, bring it back into the fist, back into the hook, straight fingers, that's hook again, fist, tabletop. And the wrist is going to be very stiff at this point. We don't want to push into severe discomfort. Some minor discomfort is okay at this stage, but ideally we want to avoid the severe end of the scale. So quite simply, you're just going to do some flexion and extension exercise over the edge of the table, nice, slow and controlled, going to what available range that you have. We can also do some ulnar deviation and some radial deviation exercises over the edge of the table. If things are still a bit acute, we can just do them sliding on the top of the table. As the weeks go by, we can provide some overpressure and hold it for maybe a good 30 seconds or so. However, in the early stages, things are going to be quite sensitive, so just some simple range of motion exercises will suffice for a while. You've also got some supination, pronation, and we're going to be quite stiff in some of these motions, so we can also provide some overpressure to supination and some overpressure to pronation. You just want to be careful when you grasp the forearm that you're not grasping around the fracture site and you're just being gentle with those overpressures. Quite early on, we can start with some simple strengthening exercises. We more want to stick with the isometric exercise. That basically means a sustained hold, holding the wrist over the edge of a table, using the other hand to provide a pressure downwards. This wrist will be blocking the force. It's important to be quite gentle at the start. The last thing you want to be doing is really forcing that wrist down. We can resist flexion from the underside as well, and extension will be from the top. Additionally, we can resist on the radial side by pushing down from the top. As the strength increases, you can put more force down with the other hand, or you can just be holding the exercise for longer. Once we've started to build up good strength of the wrist, we can start to add some weight. Once we're strong, confident and comfortable, working through the range of motion in what we call isotonic exercise, so dropping your wrist into flexion, bringing it back up into extension in a slow and controlled manner. And then we can also do a bit of radial deviation, dropping it down over the edge of the table, slow and controlled, and then working on those wrist flexors as well. If you're struggling a bit with isolating the wrist, you can make sure the elbow is nice and extended, and we can do the exercises this way. We can also work on a bit of supination and pronation. When starting any type of new exercise, like isotonic exercise, working through the range of motion, we want to start with slow and controlled movements rather than really fast, because we just want to be safe in our progressions. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you found that video useful.